What's up, guys? Welcome to TNT Sports Talk. Today is Thursday, March 7th. As always, we're presented by D's Home Cuts. I'm your host, Travis Karcheski.
I am your other host, Truman Karcheski.
So, we're recording this on Wednesday, March 6th, because we have some stuff to do on Thursday, so we're not going to have time to record. But we wanted to get the show up because we always want to provide you with 2 shows a week like we always do. So we recorded the last show on Tuesday. Now we're going Wednesday. So it's not a lot has happened, and we do apologize if something does happen between now and Thursday.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah,
Wonder if he'll come out.
Yeah, I guess we want to just start with that.
Yeah, I guess we can start right there if you want.
So yeah, Antonio Brown looking like he's going to be traded. What'd they say, by Friday?
They said Friday is looking like it'll be at the latest, but they said it could come out at any time now.
Yeah, so anytime now Antonio Brown's going to be traded. It's just something we're all waiting for it to happen. It's kind of like Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, NBA type of thing, where you're just kind of waiting around because you know it's going to happen, and then sometimes it really even doesn't happen. But we're pretty sure this will happen this time. But yeah, he's going to be traded anytime soon. You have any predictions where he's going to go, Trum?
I'm really thinking about the Raiders as the possibility right now. I mean, obviously we talk about the Packers. I mean, I would love to see him in a Packer uniform, just that talent. But the Raiders have the most capital. They're kind of the most questionable organization in all of sports, really, with the way they run things. And I just feel like Antonio Brown could be a Raider. I feel like they could spite him too if you're Steelers. Like if you're the Steelers organization, obviously he kind of did some things that just weren't always that great for you.
I thought he doesn't want to go. They want to trade him to an AFC team.
But the Raiders are different, and I think what they meant by that was no AFC North team and no competing AFC team. I think if the Raiders offer the most, I think there's no problem with sending him to Oakland or Las Vegas or whatever. I think the Steelers could send him to there because a lot of careers die in Oakland, and I could see him definitely being a Raider. But you really don't know. You really can't predict because 2 of the 3 teams that they listed at the start are out, and they said there's 3 other teams in there, and they haven't listed those teams yet. So there really is no prediction. I just have a feeling he's going to be a Raider.
Yeah, it's like I said, anytime it's going to happen. We'll talk about it when it does. But yeah, Antonio Brown should be moved by Friday or anytime now. It could happen during the show. We don't know. But we will break it if we do see it. What is that?
The free agent list.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do the free agents. We're going to go through some free agents, kind of do a free agent predictions type of thing. But let's get through some of this other NFL news. John Kuhn.
Love it. Green Bay Packer legend right there.
Retired after 12 seasons. We actually saw him once. You remember that? In the airport.
Yeah, in the airport in Washington.
We saw him in the Washington, D.C. airport, but that was during the offseason when he left us. But still, Packer legend. Signed a one-day contract with the Packers. Retired as a Packer.
Great fullback. Great guy. He does a lot of good things around Wisconsin, all over the country. He just does a lot of good things. Was honestly a great fullback for the Packers. Did what he needed to do, and just someone that you love as a Packer fan, and he will be in the Packers Hall of Fame shortly.
All right, other NFL news: Jamie Collins got cut by the Browns. Again, the Patriots. It's just another genius move by the Patriots, trading away Jamie Collins. Yeah, the Browns got a little bit of production out of him, but they ended up signing him to a big extension. He didn't work out. So they had to cut him due to salary reasons. And honestly, time and time again, he looked like he showed no effort onto the field. Maybe that's just because playing with the Browns sucks the life out of you. Every single snap you play with them, it just kills your mental health and all of that. So maybe a fresh start would be good for him, like the Packers or something like that. We could use the linebacker. But yeah, the Browns are sort of cutting cap right now. I'm not really sure why they're cutting all this cap. Jamie Collins was kind of a smart move. But they're also talking about releasing that Zeitler, their guard that they signed a couple years ago from the Bengals. He was the highest paid guard. I'm not sure if he is still. One of the highest paid guards in the NFL. Yeah, he's going to be cut here soon. They do have Austin Corbett, who they kind of want to put their rookie from last year. But we'll see what happens with the Browns.
I mean, they have plenty of cap. I don't know, why they're trying to get rid of more, but I mean, obviously that helps. I mean, any cap helps, but like, Jamie Collins was bound to get cut. I mean, his production went down a lot. I thought he was going to be a really good player for them, but his production went down a whole lot. Zeitler, though, he's one of the best pass blocking guards in the NFL. Someone I'd love to see the Packers go after if he hits
really
the open
athletic.
market. Yeah. So I don't know what the deal is there, but I mean, they do have a young guy, like you said, Corbett, behind him. So we'll see, but I think they could be, really. I think it's well known that they want to be impactors in the free agency market, and obviously all over Twitter you hear this stupid Odell shit. And if,
He ain't going to the Browns.
if he does, he does. But I mean, I don't know.
There ain't no way.
I don't know. I don't even know if that'd be the greatest thing. I don't think that's the greatest thing for the Browns even to have him in the locker room. But I don't know. That could be part of it. But another free agent, they could be in it for one of the higher key free agents out there too. So we don't know.
All right, so where do you want to go now? We can go do a little draft talk, or we can go free agency.
Well, we're talking about free agency.
All right, we'll
get
stick
that
there.
out of the way?
So we'll do some free agency stuff, some little bit of predictions right now, a little couple 10 or so.
I'll give a player, and then we'll
do predictions.
hash it out. Yeah.
All right.
And they're not going to go in like order of like who you think the best
Yeah,
is.
because we're just pulling up a random list.
Yeah. All right, Trey Flowers.
Trey Flowers, I think he stays with the Patriots.
I agree. I think he's going to go to somewhere and get a nice offer from someone.
They were going to franchise
he's going to
tag
come
him.
back to the Patriots, say, listen, this is what this team offered me, and the Patriots are going to match that and give him more, and he will be a New England Patriot.
I think it'd be a smart move for him because Patriots sort of made him, and they do a great job of making players better than what they actually are. And I think he'd be smart to stay with the Patriots. And they were going to franchise tag him. I'm not really sure why they didn't. But I guess they like to keep their, their.
They
pick.
do that. They did it with Hightower, and they did it with someone else. They let them test the open market. They say, come back to us when you get an offer from a team, and they will go get the offer from the team, come back to New England, and say, listen, this is what, with Hightower it was the Jets, this is what the Jets offered me, and New England will match it and give them more if they feel that that's needed. So I feel like that's going to happen. I feel like he'll be back in New England.
All right, next one.
Next one, Landon Collins.
I mean, the safety market is thick with talent right now. There's a million safeties out there. I want to say Packers. I honestly feel like that's a good option for him. But I think the Chiefs are also in the running for him. But I'm going to go Packers. I'm just going to be a little optimistic right now because I think a fit with the Packers would be absolutely amazing.
I want him in Green Bay. I think there's a possibility he goes to Green Bay, but I'm not going to jinx it. I don't, we'll keep it fun. We won't both say Packers here. But I think the Redskins could be a possibility for him. Stay in the division. I don't know if things ended sour with the Giants, but if they did, he might want to stay there and play them twice a year. So the Redskins could be a possibility. Cowboys too, but I'm going to say Redskins.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the safety market is thick right now. She's looking very good. So we'll see what happens, but a bunch of names out there for safety-needing teams.
All right, now this one's kind of easy, I think. Nick Foles, we both think he's going to Jaguars.
Jaguars.
Right? Okay,
all right. I mean, Jaguars need a quarterback.
We won't even count that one.
They're parting with Blake Bortles, it looks like. I've heard Blake Bortles doesn't even think he's going to be there next year. He said that multiple times on some interviews I've listened to. So, yeah, I think Nick Foles. I mean, honestly, Nick Foles is probably the best option, even if you're going to draft a person. Because why wouldn't you want your rookie sitting behind a Super Bowl MVP like Nick Foles? So
yep. I'm going to say Jaguars. I don't even think we should count that one. But how about Ndamukong Suh?
Ooh. He wants to get paid. That's his
I see him in Cleveland. I see him as a
going to
Brown.
Cleveland?
Browns got money, and the Browns need defensive line help. And I feel like Ndamukong Suh is someone they'll overpay for. And I feel like he'll be a
the
Brown.
Browns, they had their first season of winning. It's going to kind of hurt Browns fans. They had their first season of winning, but now, that front office is, they want to build off of that. So they're just going to go out there, and I feel like they're just going to make, one or two really dumb moves to try to keep that momentum.
See, I'm going to disagree just a little bit because I think John Dorsey is
Smart.
really smart, and he's a very good GM. And he does a lot of good things. He did a lot of good things at Kansas City. I think he's going to make some smart moves. But I do agree. I think they'll overpay for a guy like Ndamukong Suh, or even give up if they were to trade for Ardell. I feel like they would give up a lot of money, a lot of capital, and a lot of draft. But I would say Ndamukong Suh would be a good Cleveland Brown.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cardinals. I think the Cardinals could use some talent. They really don't have anything on their defensive line besides Chandler Jones. I think they could use somebody to pair him with. That Nimdiki or whatever they drafted a couple years ago hasn't been panning out at all. They need some defensive line talent. Best way to really fix your secondary is to get a good defensive line to rush the passer, and I think Ndamukong Suh is that. And plus, they have a lot of cap room; they'll overpay for him.
Sheldon Richardson. Stay with the defensive line.
What do you think?
I think he would be good fit with the Los Angeles Chargers. He's coming off a season with the Vikings. They signed him for a 1-year deal, but they don't have the cap really to bring him back. The Chargers need defensive line help. Obviously on the outside they have Bosa and Ingram. They're just insane at that position. But inside, Richardson's a consistent, good. He's a good. He's a good run stopper, good big body in the middle. But he's also, people fail to realize how important pass rush up the middle is, and Richardson's good at that. So I think he could be a good Los Angeles Charger.
Yeah, he had a decent year last year. So I guess you could say bounce back from when he went with the Seahawks. He was kind of ass there. He had 4.5 sacks this last year. I could see the Colts going after Richardson. They have the most money in free agency. They need some defensive help. They're looking to they're coming off a bounce back year. They're looking for some star power on that defense. I mean, can you name me a Colts defensive lineman?
Not really, but they do have the money to just shell out.
Yeah.
So they could easily, not even overpay, just pay for a guy like Sheldon Richardson and be fine. Because he's not going to command a huge amount of money. He's a good player, but he's not going to command a huge amount.
Yeah, they could offer him a pretty strong deal. They could front load that pretty easily. I'm going with Colts.
All right. Next one, Golden Tate.
Golden Tate. Best free agent wide receiver available?
I'd say so, but Tyrell Williams is very underrated.
Yeah. Biggest name, though, is probably Golden Tate.
Easily. I don't want to say this, but watch the Patriots with Golden Tate. They're in a good cap situation. They're not overblown with money, but they're not in a bad cap situation at all. I think right around $20-30 million. So I think Golden Tate would be a perfect fit in New England. And someone asked him earlier in the offseason if he would play with New England, and he said absolutely. He would love to have a chance to play with Tom Brady and win a ring there. So I'm going to say it, and I don't want it to happen because I think Golden Tate's a very good player, but Golden Tate goes to the Patriots.
What team you think needs a wide receiver the most? That is the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens have no wide receivers right now. They just cut Michael Crabtree. They're going to be looking for one in the draft. Why not go out there and get a number one guy like Golden Tate? He's not the best, but he will be serviceable for you. He will do what you need him to do. So I'm going to go ahead and take Golden Tate to the Baltimore Ravens. But also, I could see the Steelers going after somebody like him. I think the Steelers need a second guy behind Juju now that they're letting Antonio Brown go. And I think Golden Tate's a good option there.
All right, Tyrann Mathieu.
Another one of those safeties in that thick safety market. I'm going to go Chiefs. Like I said, the Chiefs need a defensive stud right now. They need somebody to hold on that back end. Eric Berry is just not the same player. No player is the same off an Achilles injury. I've said it once. I'll say it 100 times. He's not going to be the same. They need somebody to hold on that back end. They need that center fielder type of safety. Somebody who can stick his nose up there. Tyrann Mathieu's that guy.
Yeah, I'm going to say Tampa Bay. Reunite with Bruce Arians down there. Obviously, he coached him for a few years down there in Arizona. So there's definitely a relationship there. Tampa Bay needs secondary help bad. They have one of the worst secondaries in the league. And I feel like Mathieu could go down there and start right away and help that secondary grow. But I feel like he's one of those players. And someone said this to me, I forget who, that he's a warm weather guy. And he only wants to stay down south. Obviously played in LSU, drafted by the Cardinals. signed with Texans. So that's something kind of to watch for. I don't know how much there is to that. I think it might have been just Johnny blowing smoke up my ass. But I just see him in a Tampa Bay uniform. But next one, I'm going to say Trent Brown. Let's predict where Trent Brown's going. Big offensive lineman from the Patriots. I'm going to say Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati needs to spend some money. If they got the money to spend, they're usually very much a penny pinching organization. They don't like to spend very much. The Brown family over there is just draft and develop, draft and develop, draft and develop. But they've got some money this year, and if they want to start to rebuild that offense, you do it from the offensive line out, I believe. And if you want to help Andy Dalton, and you think this is the make it or break it year for him, go get an offensive lineman who's proven in New England. And, it's the same thing happened with Solder last year. He got money from the Giants. The Giants filed out a big contract for him, and he left New England. So I think Cincinnati could do that for Trent Brown.
Who was the most sacked quarterback last year, Truman?
Wasn't Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson. I'm going Texans. They need a tackle. They need somebody to bolster up that offensive line. Trent Brown is that guy. They got some money to spend. Go out there and protect your franchise quarterback who already has an ACL tear. We've seen how bad the Texans can be without a good quarterback like Deshaun Watson. Keep your quarterback, your franchise safe. Go get Trent Brown, Texans. Next one.
All right, next one.
Give me a quarterback.
Who you want? Tyrod Taylor?
No, I don't want Tyrod Taylor. I want.
Let's go Teddy Bridgewater. That's an interesting one.
All right. Where do you think he's going?
You give me one. You give me your guy first. So where do you think Teddy Bridgewater's headed?
I think Teddy Bridgewater is kind of somebody that you don't want to make your franchise guy. You don't know what he could be. You don't know what he can do. So I think a team like the Dolphins could go out there and get Bridgewater. They are supposedly really, really high on Tua, and they really want to tank to get that first draft pick to pick Tua. So I think they could, go out there and take Teddy Bridgewater, because if he does show out, you got a franchise quarterback. If he doesn't, and he fails, you got your first round pick. So I'm going with Miami.
I agree with you that I think Teddy Bridgewater I don't think he's going to be a franchise quarterback. I don't think he's going to be good.
Oh, he needs some starts.
Exactly. I think Teddy Bridgewater has earned his way to at least get 1 year to where he can just be the guy. He competed last year in New York, but Darnold was going to run with that position either way. And then he went to the Saints where he was just going to be the backup there. I mean, he wasn't going to compete with Drew Brees. So I think he needs to be somewhere where he can just have 1 year to start and prove himself in this league. And there's two teams. Like you said, the Dolphins, and then there's the Washington Redskins, in my opinion. I'm going to say, just because you said the Dolphins, I'll say the Redskins. I think the Redskins, Alex Smith's definitely not playing next year. Even he might not even play the rest of his career. Like, he might be done. So why not, if they draft someone this year, great. If they don't, great. Just let Teddy Bridgewater play. Let him, be in an offense where he can, have Geis, have a decent amount of talent, and let him just ball out for 1 year and see what he can do. And if he's your guy, great, sign him up. If he's not, then, he ends up somewhere else and he's a backup for forever.
All right, let's do two more.
Two more? Okay. Let's go Eric Weddle.
Ooh.
Cut last night, stay with safeties.
I think Colts could be a good option there. Colts, again, most money. They don't want to commit. Eric Weddle's not going to commit long term. He's not a long-term guy. He even said if he got cut last year, he said if he got cut, he would have retired. He said that last year. He backtracked on that a little bit, and now he's open to going to another team. I think he's going to get maybe 1 or 2 more years out of him. A leader. Colts definitely need a leader on that young defense. A guy like Malik Hooker, a very young safety, could definitely benefit from a guy like Eric Weddle, one of the best safeties of all time, teaching him up. Could definitely do some good there. You saw what Eric Weddle did with a guy like Tony Jefferson, made him into a stud. So I'm going to go Colts.
Colts, I'm going to say, as much as I love him in Green Bay as well, I'm not jinxing anything. But I'd say Chiefs, pair him next to Eric Berry, and let him play. I think he wants to go to a team that has a chance to win a Super Bowl. The thing about Eric Weddle is he is a very consistent starter. He doesn't miss starts.
He's a Hall of Famer.
I think he is too. I mean, he's definitely someone who's well known.
Yeah.
He's very well loved around the league. As much as I'd love him in Green Bay, I'm not jinxing it, and I'm not jinxing any free agent coming to Green Bay. As much as I'd love a lot of them too. But I'm gonna say Eric Weddle to the Chiefs.
All right, let's do one more, and we'll go talk a little draft.
All right, let's just throw Dante Fowler out there. Nice, consistent young pass rusher. Not consistent, just
he's probably
young
the
pass rusher.
biggest pass rushing name out there.
I mean, Zadarius Smith.
But yeah, not a lot of people know Zadarius Smith.
Yeah.
Even though Dante Fowler.
There you go.
Honestly, I think he re-signs with the Rams. I think he doesn't. I mean, I don't really know a ton about Dante Fowler and his mindset in terms of money, what he's looking for. I think Wade Phillips actually schemed him up pretty good. He actually had a pretty good Super Bowl. He was a big part of keeping that Patriots defense, keeping that Patriots offense, kind of under wraps. I think Wade Phillips knows how to scheme him up pretty well. But unless he wants a ton of money, the Rams aren't his place. But I think the Rams would be his best option for his career.
I'm gonna say he goes to Oakland. Oakland's just one of those weird teams, and they got money. They need pass rushers. Obviously, Dante Fowler's not going to be a star in this league, but he's fast off the edge. He'll create some pressure, and I think that's just one player Oakland will pick up off the free agent market and shell out a decent contract for. And I think Fowler will gladly be a Raider.
All right, so that's it for a little free agency breakdown. Maybe we'll do some more a little bit later, next couple of weeks. But let's talk a little draft. I'm gonna admit it. Troom, he got me the last show on DK Metcalf. We were talking, but I came back. I took the beating a little bit, went back into the lab, and got my facts. I'm ready to debate him again. Are you ready?
Yeah, I guess.
1.6 body fat is the big thing going around with DK Metcalf. So you know what I did, Truman?
Mm-hmm.
I went out there and I watched a video from a doctor about if this is a realistic body fat for a guy like DK Metcalf.
Okay.
And you know what he said? He said it is realistic because the machine they use at the combine to measure this stuff is pretty accurate most of the time. But you know what he said? There is no way in hell DK Metcalf could play at that size body fat. He said that when he gets drafted by a team, the nutritionists and the athletic trainers are going to do everything they can to get that body fat up into the teens. They said no player, no athlete can play in single-digit body fat. The only people who can survive and thrive on single-digit body fat are professional bodybuilders. Because you know what happens when you have low body fat, Trim? I'll tell you right now. Hold on, let me pull it up. I wrote some notes down, did my research. What happens is your power decreases. You get fatigued faster. You don't have as much testosterone, and you actually have a poorer mood overall. It's tougher to focus, low energy. DK Metcalf is not going to be able to survive at 1.6 body fat. It makes no sense as to why he got himself that way. It's actually unhealthy for him to be that low, which is another reason why DK Metcalf is going to be a bust in the draft and why we should all take a seat back and step back from DK Metcalf hype and realize he's not as big and as sure of a prospect as we think.
Who's your source?
He's a doctor on YouTube.
All
I
right.
was watching a video. He did a whole video on it.
So Dr. Phil or someone came
He's
out
a doctor.
and said...
It's a doctor. He has a PhD about this stuff.
Well, players around the league...
No player in the NFL is under... in the single digits with body fat. It's single-handedly impossible.
I've seen people talking, players talking, people who've taken hits in the NFL, caught touchdowns in the NFL, and they said that they would love to have played at the size and the body that DK Metcalf has played under. Now, I'm not saying that it's healthy or not because I have no factual background in body fat, neither do you, and I don't know why you're coming out and saying this. Because you have no factual background.
Yeah,
in
I did.
body
I
fat.
watched it. I know this stuff now. I'm educated.
So I will take the players who have caught touchdowns, taken hits,
Wait,
ran routes.
give me one of these players who said that.
I've just seen turning on NFL Network. You hear people are talking up DK Metcalf every day.
I think people are talking up DK Metcalf because, again, the people who are talking him up are people who also don't have factual information about what body fat does. I think when we hear the word body fat, we automatically assume fat with bad. We think when people have a high level of fat that they're unathletic and they're slow. When people have a really low level of fat like DK Metcalf, we automatically assume that they're really fit and really athletic. But in fact, most players have to have at least from ideally 15 to 10%, 15 to 20% body fat is ideal. 10 to 15 is, getting close to where you need to start to rise that a little bit more because it's unhealthy to play at a low amount of body fat, and DK Metcalf is going to have to get that up as soon as he gets drafted.
I'm not going to argue because I don't have any factual evidence. I don't think you do.
Because I did my research, and you don't know what to say because I did my research.
Dr. Phil doesn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, all right.
Dr. Phil, Doctor.
I think I owned you right there, but all right. All right, next question I got. You think Kyler Murray's going to go to the Cardinals?
Yes, I think easily. I think that's apparently out of the combine. It's pretty much locked in. Kyler Murray's going to be a Cardinal. I really feel bad, even though I called it right on the button that Josh Rosen's going to be a bust.
How is he a bust?
I feel bad for him. I feel bad. That is just a weird thing that Wilkes and Rosen are going to be gone. They really gave up on their 1 year of nothing. But now it's going to be the Kyler and Cliff show in Arizona, and I think that will happen.
All right. Well, we're going to move now to basketball. We're going to talk a little standings. We're going to talk a little Lakers. We didn't talk any basketball in the last show. But before that, what are we talking, Drew?
We're talking Bucks.
We're talking D's Home Cuts. That's what we're talking. D's Home Cuts is the best place around Northeast Ohio for a great haircut at a low price. For only $7, D's Home Cuts will provide you with a professional haircut at a low price. Let me tell you guys, before we met Dom, and before Dom started doing this haircut thing, we were paying, what was it, $40 for a haircut from a salon?
No.
Yeah.
Combined?
No, the salon we went to one time.
It wasn't paying $40.
You never won. It was $35 or $40.
Wow.
So most haircuts are going to run you, most professional haircuts are going to run you $35 to $40. So go to Dom's Home Cuts, $7. All of that money goes directly to him, so you don't have to worry about corporate taking some of that money out of the hairstylist pocketbook. Go ahead and check Dom out on Instagram at D's Home Cuts. You can see all of his videos from his haircuts that he's done. You can get kind of an idea of what type of cuts he does. But even if you don't know what you want your hair to look like, go in there and Dom will hook you up. He'll give you the best haircut possible so you can be looking your best. And you still have a lot of money left over to do whatever you want. So go check him out, D's Home Cuts on Instagram. Send him a DM to set up an appointment. Professional D's Home Cuts, professional haircuts at a low price. So it's Thursday. Well, it's Wednesday, but we're going to do some standings updates. Again, it's Wednesday when we are recording this. So these are going to be different by the time you hear this on Thursday. What?
Possibly.
Well, it is because you'll see what we do here. You're kind of new to this segment, but we'll start with the West. We'll start with the Warriors.
Start with the West. Don't start with the East.
Warriors still got that number 1 seed. That hasn't changed. Denver's at 2. Isaiah Thomas still providing a spark off the bench. Houston's at 3. Oklahoma City at 4. Portland Trailblazers at 5. Utah at 6. Clippers at 7. And Spurs at 8. With the Kings behind them, about 3 games right now behind the Spurs for that 8th seed. So not too close there. Not many teams fighting for a spot inside the Western playoffs. Any thoughts?
The Kings are a team I'm rooting for. Obviously, if they get in as the 8th seed, they won't beat the Warriors. Probably won't even get a game against the Warriors. Although that'd be a prediction for you. The Kings are going to beat the Warriors in the first round.
Yeah.
But they're a team I'm rooting for because they're a team my entire life so far that they've just been bad.
They're the Padres of
yes, exactly. And I would not mind to see a playoff series in Sacramento. It's a fan base that has been starving for at least somewhat of hope. I like De'Aaron Fox, so I'm pulling for the Kings there, even though I like the Spurs.
I like Buddy Hield.
Yeah, I like Buddy Hield too. I like the Kings overall, but so that's the team I'm pulling for. But obviously, out of the West, it's the Warriors haven't been playing that great of late, but it's the Warriors, and they're gonna pick it up around playoff time, and everyone's gonna have to watch
Yeah,
out.
I mean Houston's won 6 straight. They're fighting to get that number 2 seed right now. They're about 4 games back from Denver, but again, the playoffs really heat up around this time. Let's move on to the East now. Bucks have the number 1 seed right now. Toronto's got number 2. Both teams have lost 2 straight, so that might change within the next coming weeks. Indiana's still holding strong with that 3rd seed, which is surprising since they lost Victor Oladipo, but they just keep winning. They just keep playing well. So they have the 3rd seed. 4th seed, 76ers. 5th seed, Celtics, which is a dumpster fire right now. 6th seed, Detroit. Brooklyn, the 7th, and then the Hornets at 8. And I don't think... And then 9's Miami, who they're tied with the Hornets for the 8th seed. And then the Magic are right there as well. They're about a game back from the 8th seed. So a lot tighter than the West. But again, I think when the race is tight, it makes it more fun when teams are fighting to get into the playoffs, not just for seeding. But it's going to be interesting because nobody really knows who's going to come out of the East this year.
I know.
Oh yeah,
I know.
How many playoff series has Giannis won?
I know. This is a completely.
Why didn't you answer my question?
It's a completely different year.
How many? Why didn't you answer the
Completely
question?
different year. We're going to be the 1 seed, not the 5 or 6 seed.
Okay.
So I don't know. East's interesting. I'm not just going to sit here and go off about the Bucks.
Why not?
I actually want.
Why not?
I will in a second, but I want to talk about like the Magic. I'm rooting for the Magic for the 8th seed. That's another team I think you can attest to too. Even though they went to the finals and had the weird years with Dwight Howard, their team for most of our life.
You remember Turkoglu?
Yeah, I remember Turkoglu. Have been bad. So I'm pulling for them. I like Aaron Gordon. Pulling for the fan base just to get in the playoffs. But likely they won't win a series if they were the 8th seed. But I'm pulling for the Magic there. And then I want to comment on Boston. Boston was the favorite. This year going into the season to win the East. Kyrie, Gordon Hayward, everyone talked about him as like the next Cavs out of the East. But they just are not fitting well together. I think Kyrie. Someone said today, an analyst said that he's the most miserable person that they've ever been around. And he is just every day he's been calling out the media, calling out everyone. No one knows if he's going to stay or not. Or he's going to New York with
Don't
Kevin
you
Durant.
think this is kind of like the Celtics thing? Like, again, with Isaiah Thomas 2 years ago, nobody expected them to do anything. Then once Kyrie Irving and Hayward were out last year, nobody expected them to do anything. And they made runs in the playoffs. This team seems like a team every year where they just, once they get in, as long as they get in, and, nothing really matters anymore up to that point as long as you get in. And then next thing you know, the Celtics could go off at any moment and completely flip that switch, and all this talent could work together. Playoffs, everybody gets focused in, and they could make a run at it.
But yeah, the Celtics are the team that would do that. I agree. And Brad Stevens is such a good coach. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. And he could easily get his guys together, and they could go on a playoff run. They could go to the finals. They could do whatever the hell. But right now, they just seem so like everyone hates everybody. Kyrie just looks like he hates the world. The one guy called the whole team out. I forget his name, but I just think they're so separated at this point that how are they going to come together for the playoffs and play together as a team? I don't know, but they are a team that would be a 5 seed that picks it up and goes off and goes to the finals or whatever. But then it goes to the Bucks. The number 1 seed, they're 48-16. They just lost 2 in a row for the first time all season.
Suns.
They blew a lead in the fourth quarter against the Suns, which is it's going to happen. Losses are going to happen. Nothing to be concerned about. But you can't just say enough about the MVP Giannis. He is literally just playing out of his mind. I love him to death. He's going to be a Buck for forever, and I'm really excited to see what they do in the playoffs. I'm really putting all my hope on the Bucks. Because you don't want to see him choke or anything like that. But I've just been very happy with them lately. Obviously, locking up their point guard for the future in Eric Bledsoe, 4 years, $70 million. It's just a key contract. I was worried about him leaving and stuff like that, but he'll be there for a while. But the addition that I am so excited about is Pau Gasol. I know you are just
He's
gonna
like
laugh
65
about it.
years
But
old.
the thing the Bucks needed, and this is the one thing they needed, was a veteran presence who has been there and done that. And Pau Gasol is he is the veteran who has been to championships. He's won championships. He's been to deep playoff runs. And he is going to help them so much in the playoffs. He's literally another coach on the floor.
I mean, they had that last year and it didn't work.
Yeah, but we didn't have enough talent last year.
You had Jason. What do you mean?
We didn't have Mike Budenholzer last year.
You had pretty much the same roster.
Mike Budenholzer,
who hasn't won a playoff series.
Mike Budenholzer is the difference in the entire thing. But
Okay.
Pau Gasol, I just love that addition. He's going to be, just good off the bench, coach on the floor.
Had that last year didn't work. How'd that work out for you?
Great addition for the Bucks. Obviously, Nicole and Mirotic. Obviously, that was part. They were really good friends when Gasol played in Chicago and Mirotic played in Chicago. So obviously that helps. Some more stretch the floor bigs who can hit threes all over. Which is Budenholzer's special. But I can't say enough about the Bucks. I'm so happy. I'm so proud to be a Bucks fan now because it is finally time where they're gonna make a run at this thing, and it's gonna be an interesting race in the East. And I think the Bucks are gonna take it.
I think I'm gonna be a Nets guy. I think I'm gonna take the Nets coming out of the East. There, I think that's gonna.
You think you're gonna pick the 7th seed to win the East?
I'm gonna be a Nets guy. I think I'm gonna be a Nets fan.
You're gonna pick
for the rest
Nets
of
versus
this.
Warriors when we pick the finals.
I bet you Nets go farther than the Bucks.
I will bet you every single amount of money that I have for my birthday.
You want to make a bet?
Yeah, easily. I'll bet $80.
You ever heard of Soggy Sorrows?
No.
There's a podcast I listen to, right? That's
Okay.
part of my take.
Great.
When the team loses or when they lose a bet, the other person dumps water on their head, and then they podcast after it.
Okay.
You want to do that?
Sure.
All right. So if the Bucks go farther, I'll do it. If the Nets go farther, I'll do it.
All right. Easily.
All right. So here we got a bet. I'm gonna be a Nets guy. I like D'Angelo Russell's my guy. I don't think either of our teams are in college basketball are doing much right now. So
What?
Yeah, Wisconsin sucks. Ohio State sucks.
All right. Well, when we do our bracket, you'll see how far I pick Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, okay. But that's it for that. You want to talk a little LeBron right now?
I'd love to talk a little LeBron.
Yeah. So LeBron.
I mean, what's there to talk about?
Let's break this down a little bit. All right. So kind of what we did with Antonio Brown last show. We'll break down LeBron. So LeBron, he goes to the Lakers. First couple of months, they go okay, not great. They're in the playoff run here and there. Then LeBron goes out with a groin injury. And then the Anthony Davis saga happens. LeBron tries to trade every single player on his team for Anthony Davis. And thankfully, this is honestly the first time in a long time LeBron hasn't gotten his way. And the trade doesn't go through. And now LeBron has to play the rest of the season with guys on his team that know he wanted to trade them. So now he hasn't been playing well. And he's been on his show, messing around. He was drinking wine with 2 Chainz.
He's an alcoholic.
Yeah, he's an alcoholic. We know that. But he was drinking wine with 2 Chainz at like 11 o'clock at night. And then the next game he missed because of soreness. He showed clearly has given up. He hasn't played defense in the past. But this past couple of weeks have been really, really bad. He just totally gives up. And
You can't tell me Michael Jordan ever did this in his career.
it's just like laziness, just pure laziness. First time in a long time, and now what are they? The 10th seed right now. They're really far behind, and it's just been a mess this whole season.
Yeah, I just don't understand what he's doing, and
His focus is gone. He's not what he's been in the past.
And I just want to see if they actually do get a bunch of free agents and whatnot in the summer and stuff like that. But I mean, what a stupid move to go from the Cavs to the Lakers and just lose your first year. I mean, he's gonna not make the playoffs. How embarrassing is that? He's gonna not. I understand LeBron's greatest player in a while, but seriously, you gotta be better than you are right now. And he's not even playing like he in Cleveland. His energy level was so high, and he was always putting all the effort in. Never on defense, but just in general, always being a leader and stuff like that. He just doesn't seem like he's doing that with the Lakers, and I think he's completely lost the team.
Yeah, and it's just he's a mess right now. But people are still going to defend him every single day. But I think people are starting to come around a little bit, don't you think? About LeBron?
What do you mean? Like
Like,
people
they
are
kind of
starting to realize?
understand, uh, how big of a piece of shit he is
I
on the
mean,
basketball court.
yeah, I mean, he's a great player, but he's just not being a leader in Los Angeles. I just do not like what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I really wanted to say about him. That's pretty much everything we have. But again, we didn't talk about this before. March 8th is the anniversary of this podcast, 1 year anniversary. Uh, I guess, we could talk a little bit about, how we started this and like what we've learned in the first year, I guess you could say. We started this, like I said, in our basement. We've done about 98 episodes. We're almost at 100 episodes. All of it has been recorded and produced in our basement. We've done a bunch of athlete interviews. We're still working on getting more every single day. We've had a ton of guests on, and I just want to say, thank you to everybody who's been on. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting over the past year. Even if you've listened for just a second, even if you've, interacted with us in any sort of way, we still, we thank you for listening and interacting with us. And to everybody who's been on as a guest, I don't think we've had really a bad guest. I mean, everybody's been great.
No, yeah, everyone's been awesome.
Everybody's been great that's come on. We still love getting new people in here. And then again, I don't think we've had a bad interview with an athlete yet. We've had all cool guys who've been on. Everybody's supporting the podcast. But a year ago, I mean, I don't think we'd ever thought we'd be here a year ago. I don't think we'd ever thought we'd be interviewing pro athletes and growing this to where we are right now. But yeah, it's been a fun year doing this thing.
Yeah, it has definitely. Definitely the pro athlete thing is probably the biggest for me. I never thought I'd be able to call a pro athlete up and talk to them. They've all been amazing people too. All been great, supportive. Take time out of their busy, busy pro athlete schedules and just talk to us for 10, 15 minutes. Just some kids. I really appreciate it. And then the rest of the guests, but most of them have been, close friends of ours, and they've all been great. And we can't thank them enough, and I just can't look forward to bringing more and more and keep bringing them on. And next year it'll be easier. We'll be in our apartment with Johnny, so you'll hear a lot more of Johnny, like we said on Tuesday, and which is a good thing because he's got good sports takes as well sometimes. So it'll be much easier next year when we can, do this, consistently, and I can be on consistently. But yeah, it's been a fun year.
Yeah, I think it's been a lot difficult than we thought when we started. There's been some times where you just don't feel like podcasting, but you fight through. And it's been a lot of fun. We've done a lot of cool things over the year. Stuff behind the scenes. We've talked to a lot of cool people who have given us tips and stuff like that. But definitely, once you get through that first year, I think you start to get it a lot better because now we got kind of a feel for how like the sports scene goes, the sports schedule, different, leagues and sports, during the times of the years or whatever. But I think we got it down a little bit. We're going to continue to grow, continue to get better, and just, keep listening, and you'll just see how far we can keep growing this thing.
Yep, definitely.
But that's it for our show today. We want to thank you to our sponsor, D's Home Cuts. We ask that you go on to our Twitter, at TNT Sports Talk 12. That's where you can send us a DM. If you have questions, comments, concerns, if you want to be a guest on the show, questions you want answered on the show, whatever. Instagram, where are we at?
Oh, we're getting there.
We're
Don't
still
worry.
in the process right now of getting the Instagram back up there. But check us out on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes podcast. Leave us 5 stars, rate, review us, and subscribe and download. Find us on 12ouncesports.com tomorrow from 7 to 8 a.m. And as always, you can find us on Grand Old Sports. But we will have a show for you on Tuesday. I don't think Truman will be here on Tuesday. So it'll be back to me. But we will break down everything going on over the weekend. Maybe Antonio Brown. Probably Antonio Brown is what we're guessing.
You'll probably be talking about him.
But we'll see what happens with that, how that acts out. But other than that, have a great day and tune in on Tuesday.
Yep,
Thanks,
go
guys.
Pack, go.